welcome to my channel. Thanks very much for joining me. If it's your first time here, thanks very much, and if you're a return subscriber, thanks for subscribing. In this video I'm going to be talking about the rugby match last night in the Rugby Championship between the Australian Wallabies and the South African Springboks. This match was played in Sydney, Australia at the new Allianz Stadium that has been refurbished in recent times, and it was a sellout crowd. And conditions are a little bit different to what the two teams had last weekend in Adelaide. We had some rain falling, and that was going to make sure that the game was a little bit different. Well, pretty much like the All Blacks in the game against Argentina, the Springboks had to turn up and do their best to try and win this game. Remember, they hadn't won a match before this match for 9 years in Australia, so there was a bit of a voodoo on their shoulders going into this match, and I'm sure Australia were well and truly aware of that, and I'm sure that Dave Rennie had been beating that into the Wallabies during the week to try and keep that record intact. Home ground advantage, they say, so it was. Anyway, the game got off to a good start, and it wasn't long before the sustained pressure from the Springboks started to tell. And I think if we look at this game in its entirety, we'd probably say too fast, too big, too strong, and too many ideas, and that probably summed up the Springboks' great performance yesterday. So there was a try in the 9th minute to Aladandi. He went over under the post after a play came out from a scrum, and he was given the ball to go straight under the uprights. And then in the 31-minute mark, it was already 7 points to 3 to the Springboks. So Australia got a penalty. Lolasia got a penalty kick in front, and he took advantage of that. But the Springboks were just applying pressure all over the park and really putting the force on the Australians in this match in the first half, and I didn't really see that the Springboks were going to get beaten. They were just too dominant, too strong. And so it happened just on half time. In fact, in the 37th minute, the young rookie Moodie on the wing for the Springboks took a magnificent catch over and above Corabetti, who was defending the position for the Wallabies, but he was caught flat-footed. A great high kick was in place, and Moodie just pulled the ball out of the air and ran to the Australian goal line to score a fantastic try just before half-time, and that really changed the momentum in the match, or probably sealed the momentum that was already in the match for the Springboks. So they went into half-time ahead 12 points to 3, and I really got a feeling that the Springboks were going to come out in the second half and just take it to Australia and continue applying the pressure, and if they did that, then the points would come. And in the 43rd minute, that's exactly what happened when Mostert went over under the post, and he scored a great try as well. So the Springboks took off to a lead of 17 points to 3 at that stage after 43 minutes, and it wasn't until the 71st minute where their sustained pressure told again, and a good play down the left-hand side of the field saw LaRue drawing a man and passing to Mpimpi, who went over in the corner. And it was a pretty similar situation as it was last week in Adelaide, where Corabetti was defending against Mpimpi, but this time Corabetti couldn't put Mpimpi into touch, and Mpimpi went in the corner and scored a brilliant try for the Springboks. After that try, there was a bit of brawling going on, and Mpimpi actually ended up in the sin bin. I don't know what that was all about, but there was a bit of a handbag shuffle that was going on after the try, and I think the Aussies just needed to let off a bit of steam on that one. So the Springboks went out to 24 points to 3, and it wasn't until the dying minute of the game that the Australians were able to cross the Springboks line, and they did that after Willie LaRue did a bit of a silly knock on. He was trying to defend the line, and it was more or less a professional foul. He got put in the sin bin, and the Aussies went over for a try in the last minute. So the Springboks ended up overcoming their 9-year drought in Australia by winning this match 24 points to 8, and it was a good win by the Springboks, a good solid win, and they've finally got that voodoo off their shoulders now, playing in Australia, not having won a game in 9 years. So I think the Australians won't be very happy with this game. They had a good win over the Springboks last week by applying sustained pressure throughout the game and taking their chances and opportunities. In this match though, the Springboks defence was great, their forwards were great, dominating in set pieces of play. They had a lot of possession and they used that possession, but when Australia coughed up a few errors, the Springboks took advantage and scored some really good tries. So the Springboks have bounced back and now they're second level in the table with 3 other teams. The All Blacks are 1 point ahead because of their bonus point win, but the Springboks now take on Argentina in the next match in this series, and that's going to be really exciting to see whether the Argentinians are able to bounce back after their dominating loss to the All Blacks, or whether the Springboks are going to be able to continue their good form in the Rugby Championship and take out a win in Argentina. So it's all to play for in the remaining matches in the Rugby Championship. Week 4 has been really exciting with both of the teams that had won in the previous weekend losing this weekend, and the All Blacks and Springboks coming out on top again this particular weekend. So a great performance by the Springboks in Australia. They've got that win now, and I'm sure they're going to be setting themselves up for a good weekend in Argentina. Let me know what you think about the Springboks performance in Sydney last night. Was it up to your expectations as maybe a Springboks supporter? And what do you think happened to Australia? Did the wheels fall off, or was just a dominant performance by the Springboks, and we're going to be able to see a change around from the Wallabies when they play the New Zealand All Blacks in their next match in Melbourne? So it's set up for a great final series of matches in the Rugby Championships. Let me know who you think is going to come out on top. And if you've got a moment, please hit the subscribe button on this channel. Leave your comment about these matches this weekend and let me know what your thoughts are. And I'll be back again soon with another video in this series. Thanks for watching and bye for now.